Oh, hi. I was just polishing up mahogany mallard, model number 6090. I like to keep my office tidy myself. It's a habit I got into in the early days when we were just starting out. You know how it is when you're just starting out. You have to wear many hats. Well, in my case, it was the occasional jumpsuit. Anyway, we'd been in business for about a year. We had great products and even better service. The trouble is, nobody knew. My assistant Roberta and I realized being good wasn't good enough. We needed to get noticed, to toot our own horn. We thought about advertising, but do you know how much that costs? Besides, we didn't need to reach millions of people. We just needed to reach the right people, the ones who needed what we had to offer, the ones who could make the buying decision. So, we tried cold calling. Hey, look at it hurt, right? The real question was, how did it help? The trouble with phone calls is you've got to get through to the people who make decisions, and most of them have people who make sure people like you don't get through to people like them. Either they take a message and never get back to you, or they put you on hold, which is kind of like getting stuck in an elevator. The problem is, even if you do get through to the decision makers, and even if they are willing to talk to you, a phone call isn't the greatest way to get a lot of information across. And besides, how do you know they'll remember what you're saying? And most importantly, how will they remember you? Phew, they don't call it cold calling for nothing. So then I thought, hey, let's take our case directly to potential clients. Do a little opportunity knocking, so to speak. Once they saw what we had to offer, the rest would be easy. I didn't understand. Here we were, offering good value and good service. We were filling a real need, but everyone's calendars were already filled. Few people would take the time to listen to us, and even fewer of those were in a position to make decisions. I couldn't blame them. My schedule gets filled too. And when was the last time I placed an order with someone who just walked in off the street? I thought to myself, there has to be a better way to connect with customers, to get my message across to the right people at the right time for the right cost, if only I could find it. So that's where I was, trying to find an answer and pinching pennies until I found one. Then, late one evening, as I was taking a break, something caught my eye. Something from a moving company. I thought, what the heck? Maybe I'll need him to move back to the garage. Oh, who was I kidding? Another few weeks of business like this and I wouldn't be able to afford anyone. Much less movers. Nevertheless, I filed it away. You never know when it might come in handy. But you know, those get-a-move-on movers had a few things going for them that I didn't. They'd gotten noticed, they'd gotten their message across, and in my mind, they'd gone straight from being strangers to being a business resource. If these people had called me on the phone, I would have said, no thanks, I don't need any. If they had showed up in person, I would have been too busy. But they use direct mail. It gets their points across in a solid form I can keep on hand. And best of all, I open up the envelope when it suits my schedule, when I'm most receptive. This was the key. I couldn't wait to see Roberta's face when I told her the next morning.
Junk mail? You want to do junk mail?
No, that's just the point. It's not junk mail. Junk mail is mail that is meaningless to the recipient. I'm talking about the opposite. Let's call it value mail.
Come on.
I'm serious. We're not talking about flashy gimmicks here. All we want to do is communicate a message of real value to those who stand to benefit by it.
I don't know. It sounds pretty complicated.
Then we'll hire specialists.
Brilliant, Gordon. And how are we going to pay for them?
I don't know. We'll just tighten the old belt again and just get rid of some of the stuff we don't need. Like this computer, for instance.
Yeah, right.
Or this mailing system. What are we using it for?
Oh, to send out the invoices, a couple of business letters each day, you know, the usual.
Exactly. We don't need it. We'll go back to licking stamps.
You mean I go back to licking stamps?
Well, if you want to get technical about it. No, I'm no business genius, but I've had some pretty bright ideas in my time.
That's the worst idea I've ever heard. Maybe you're looking at this backwards. Instead of getting rid of this stuff, why don't we use it?
What do you mean?
Look, if this computer can keep our books, I'll bet it can manage a mailing list as well. And with a page layout program, I'll bet we could put together a pretty decent-looking mailing. I'm no artist, but with today's software, you don't have to be.
Well, it sounds pretty complicated.
It's using the computer in a different way, but it's no more complicated than what we're doing now. This system gives us everything we need to try out your value mail idea. So why don't we do it ourselves? I think that's the way to go, especially when you consider the alternative.
Yeah, what's that?
You lick your own stamps.
As I said, I've made some great decisions in my day, like when I decided to hire Roberta. That was the start of Operation Value Mail. We figured that the best way to move forwards was, well, to work backwards. We chose the date we wanted our target audience to receive our mailing, and then we worked backward to allocate resources. While Roberta got the computer set up to accept a mailing list, I started shopping for one. I was amazed by the depth and breadth of the list they had to offer, and by choosing one and correlating it with another, you can really zero in on your target audience. Now, how about everybody in the tri-state area who buy animal items?
No problem.
And who place orders of 50,000 or more?
No problem.
In the past 6 months?
You got it.
And who really, really like ducks? Well, I had to ask. It didn't take long to get the mailing list in the computer. The list house provided it on a diskette compatible with our system. Meanwhile, I drafted our message. No double talk, just a straight communication about our company and what we had to offer. I wrote it up, Roberta cleaned it up, and soon it was ready.
It's not ready.
Why?
It's almost there, but it needs something.
We experimented, and we discovered that it did need something. 3 somethings, in fact. First, we needed something to get the envelope open. Then we needed something to translate interest into action. You know, a little incentive to get people to act right away. Finally, we needed something for those people who couldn't order immediately, something for future reference. So then we folded and collated, printed and applied labels, and metered our mailing. Surprisingly, it didn't take too long at all. That mailing system's pretty efficient. You know what else didn't take too long? That's right, results. Some people called with orders right away, and some were just curious and wanted more information. But our name got out there, and our product started moving. In fact, we moved so much that we moved ourselves. Hey, when you gotta grow, you gotta grow. And you know who I called for the move? You got it. Heck, I figured I owed them. Besides, they were offering a new client discount too. Of course, it took more than a single mailing to keep us growing, but that was the beauty of the system. Since we had all the resources in-house, it was no big hassle to create new kinds of value mail and to keep enhancing our message. We started using a freelance artist to give us a little more creative impact, but the bottom line was the same. We kept our mailing list online and our mailing system standing by, because you never know when you need them. Take the case of the Blue Ducks. One of our Hong Kong suppliers got our order a little mixed up. Instead of sending up 12 grosses of item 503, he sent us 503 grosses of item 12. And what's more, when I said I wanted to see some new designs, he must have thought I said blue designs. I might have been able to get it all straightened out, but that would have taken too long. I needed to move these ducks ASAP. So we used our value mail resources to get out a special offer the very same day. Free blue duck with each order. Hurry while supply lasts. It was a way of turning what could have been a crisis into a golden opportunity. Or rather, a blue one. Well, that was a while ago. And while we've kept growing, some things haven't changed. Here, let me show you. You see, value mail is still at the heart of our business. Here's the research department. And they're working to identify the cycles of our business, when clients buy and why, and that helps us in the timing and in the strategy of our mailings. Here's the billing department. With every invoice, we include an insert, a special offer, or a thank you message. We've even put in questionnaires and got some useful suggestions, too. We're trying out a mail order division, too. If it takes off, we'll start working with one of the big direct mail companies. But right now, we're testing the waters with a catalog we produce and distribute it right here. That's the man from the list service house. Nowadays, we don't just rent lists from him. He also buys them from us. Here's Roberta. She's getting ready to head up the North Coast office. We're expanding into that area, too.
That's right. And you can bet that before we decided to open up over there,
We did a lot of value mailing to that territory also.
to make sure that the client base and the demand were there before we committed.
It's surprising, really, the way all this didn't take any fancy equipment or major expense. We just made the most of what we had, of what any small business has, a personal computer, a mailing system, and a clear sense of the value that we have to offer. Yes, thank you. Well, this has been great, but if you'll excuse me, I have some important business to take care of.